First of all, I'd like to thank Tom Hartman, who is dedicating his whole radio show this morning to the need for a new investigation into 9/11. It's an honor to be here today representing all the artists and activists who have signed petitions requesting the first real investigation into 9/11. Years ago, Benjamin Franklin said, "It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority." Back in the 60s, we lived by that popular slogan, question authority. Those words still ring true today. I saw the terrible attacks on September 11th on TV. It was the most horrible, blood-curdling thing I've ever seen. And naturally, at first, I accepted the official story as true. But after watching a video called Connecting the Dots, refuting the official story, it seemed clear that there were many inconsistencies and unsolved issues in the 9/11 Commission. I couldn't help but begin to question authority. Anyone who looks at the material and footage compiled by experts in their fields will immediately see, as they have, the blatant evidence that something is terribly wrong with the government findings. Thousands of scientists, engineers, and architects clearly and loudly state that steel frame buildings just don't come down 10 floors per second, even if they've been hit by a plane. And no steel frame building in the world has ever collapsed because of fire. No steel frame building has ever collapsed because of fire. The Bush-Cheney Commission report never explained that. There are hundreds of legitimate questions that were not answered, and the silence is deafening. So along with performers, actors, and activists that have joined this movement, I call out for truth, I call out for justice, and I call out for accountability for all those who suffered and died. President Obama, Americans have the right to question what happened on that terrible day. Please, the country needs a new investigation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michelle-Phillips, and thank you for that inspiring statement and all the music that you gave us over the years, Mamas and Papas, right up to today. My name is Joseph-Culp. I'm an actor and a filmmaker. At this very moment, our own joint press conferences are taking place in New York and Los Angeles. Also at this moment in Washington, D.C., the 1,270 strong architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth are publicizing alarm over the official reports of the destruction of the 3 World Trade Center high-rises and are demanding of Congress a new investigation. As an artist and citizen growing up in America, I came to see that the truth about U.S. policies, both foreign and domestic, was not always easy to find. Without truth and transparency, it is impossible to achieve the democracy we aspire to be. A truly free, a democratic country must have access to the truth, or it cannot make informed choices. The events of 9/11 informed many choices for America, with arguably some of the most negative, hurtful, and disastrous consequences. It is now a well-accepted fact that the original 9/11 Commission was, and I quote, set up to fail, end quote, and did not get the full picture of 9/11, and instead perpetuated many myths. The fact that most people don't know that there was a building called WTC 7 that was completely demolished hours after the Twin Towers without ever being hit by a plane is an example of how ill-informed we are. Qualified researchers from nearly every profession of the private sector have called the government's official story into question and can show ample evidence to contradict almost every facet of the 9/11 story shown to us through the media. 9/11 was not an accidental lapse of security, nor a surprise to the highest levels of US and world governments. This can be shown and proved. Now, my partners and I made The Reflecting Pool feature film, which was the first investigative drama about 9/11, to bring some of these discrepancies to a wider public, with the hope of inspiring others to ask more questions and demand honest answers about these history-altering events. As an artist, it is my responsibility to seek the truth in my art. As a citizen, it is my responsibility to demand the truth from my government if I want my children to have hope of living in a true democracy. I grew up the son of the late veteran actor Robert Culp, an artist who put his ideals on the line championing civil rights in the 1960s. For me, 9/11 truth is a civil rights issue in the extreme, and one that I am willing to take on for my own conscience and for the good of my country. We are all suffering the effects of 9/11, economically, militarily, legally, culturally, not forgetting the victims, the sick and the dying, and the families who lost loved ones, whose pain will last a lifetime. I join with other actors and artists in support of a new independent investigation of the events of 9/11, wherever it may lead, in hopes of bringing the right people to justice, healing some of the terrible wounds, and setting an example and standard of truth for future generations. We should demand nothing less. Thank you. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Charles Ewing-Smith.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thanks. The events of September 11th, 2001 happened 9 years ago. Since that time, numerous explanations have been put forth by various organizations, including our own official government entities like FEMA and the now internet infamous NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. We will, here today, present compelling new information which clearly and unfortunately refutes what these official sources have told us. It's also clear that despite all previous efforts to introduce new scientific evidence in the past, the mainstream media has belligerently ignored it and continued to promote the official story. We, as members of the 9/11 Truth Movement, seek only the truth, just the facts, no speculation. We are here to say that the American people, indeed the people of the world, deserve far better than these lame, unfocused, unscientific, and unethical government-funded reports, with their resulting cover-ups. We stand here today representing the three most recent professional groups to join forces with the worldwide 9/11 Truth Movement. We are actors and artists, scientists, and military officers. Yes, it's true, we're certainly not professional criminal investigators. However, from the evidence that has come to light over the years, and in light of new evidence, which we have chosen to share with you today, it has become clear that aspects of the attacks required intimate knowledge of the inner workings of the U.S. Defense Department, the Federal Aviation Administration, and even the security measures in place for the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. Given the growing list of inconsistencies within even the official accounts, we stand here today before you to urge you to join us in supporting a new and independent investigation. We don't know who committed this heinous act. We don't know how they did it. We do know this, that there is more than sufficient evidence to show that a lot of what our official government entities have told us is corrupt and completely false. For this reason, we plan to continue our campaign to reopen the investigation so that we may once and for all fully understand what happened, why, and how. Then and only then can justice be done. But to make matters more urgent and much worse, if we look at the provable falsity of the explanations we've been given, it becomes all the more unbearable that so many innocent people, young and old, male and female, theirs and ours, should continue to die hopelessly quagmired in unjustified, even illegal wars. Wars that are still to this day being fought in the name of 9/11. The American people at large, fully 62%, no longer support the war in Afghanistan. A new Associated Press poll was released August 20th. There was only 38% support for the war, which is down dramatically from 46% in March. In light of this new poll, the question must be, does this 38% in favor of these so-called bloody wars know anything about the evidence we are about to present? I think not. Here is but another golden opportunity for you, the media, to finally do the right thing and bravely cover this incredible story. We need a new independent investigation as soon as possible. This investigation will, amongst other things, uncover the truth about precisely how the 3 World Trade Center buildings came down. This time, of course, using science and the well-known laws of physics, instead of a speculative fantasy like the NIST report, which is a report that flat-out ignores basic scientific truths in order to reach its conclusions. If the media would just do their job and inform the people of both sides of the debate, unbiased, we could all be informed if we wanted. Intelligent life would flourish. We might try to stop being a paranoid nation, and the wars could end. And with lessons learned, we wouldn't end up potentially turning into our version of citizens who were labeled after World War II, the good Germans. Thank you very much.